What's up? What's up? What's up, you guys? Sorry I'm late. Sorry. I was taking care of some business and I got behind. So my apologies. Um, let's get into it, you guys. With that being said, I'm gonna jump right on in. Hold on. I see y'all was talking in the chat. So let me see what y'all were talking about. I see some of y'all didn't like Shamea Mama and her 2 cents in it. Hold on, let me see what y'all put in the chat. What y'all rank this episode on a scale of 1 to 10? What y'all rank this episode? Let me just see. Since y'all were waiting for me, let me see what y'all was saying. Angela stepping into her sophomore season, carrying bones and mending relationships. Oh, the flowers are for me. Well, thank you so much. I like your critical thinking. If we missed something, you got us covered. Well, thank you, boo. What I'm about to say is rude, but I absolutely hate the way Phaedra dismisses Angela. Excuse me, Phaedra dresses, Lord. Angela is gorgeous, and that body, yeah, Angela body is fire. I don't give a damn. How was Shamea not the worst dressed? And Nana's Cynthia looked like a granny, and Phaedra shaking my head. Lord, y'all was in here cutting up. I want some chicken and waffles now. I think I'll head to Brick House next weekend. Not broken flowers from a broken person. Oh, y'all were in here cutting up. Shamea's an epic fail. ... Again. When did Kelly change her ensemble? Yeah, I like Shamea, but she's still lost. I like Shamea outside of the show. She should be herself. She has an awesome life. Shamea is cringe. Oh, y'all not feeling Shamea. K. Michelle, this is your platform. Loving K. Michelle. I didn't know it was going to be an additional 15. Child, the 15 minutes threw me off too. The extra 15 minutes threw me off too. Remind me, why is Horisha going after Kelly? Child, I don't know. Because of Kelly asking why did she marry that woman's husband. Oh, well, yeah. But child, that's so last season. Kelly didn't say anything that wasn't true. Well. And I need to add, I'm tired of all of their of all of their idiots. Damn, the censor should have a child. I'm surprised Really B didn't move the time back since, yeah, I should have moved the time back, but I was actually doing something, to be honest. Shamea is still so cringe to me. Kelly is tacky and gaudy. I want Shamea's mom to stay in the background. I don't like Shamea's mom butting in. Okay, I think I'm pretty much caught up now. Yeah, I'm just starting, y'all. I was running late. My bad. I was running late. All right. All right, I see 7s and 8s for what y'all thought this episode was. Kelly's restaurant is closed now. Yeah, I think the damn rest. I think grand opening, grand closing, honey. Okay, do we believe Porsha? I'm not believing it. I don't like Shamea. I believe that husband is a scammer. How you have HVAC and you let your child? Oh Lord. Okay. So let's get into it. I'll be honest. I think this is a really good episode. I would rate it. I mean, as far as a housewife episode, I would probably rate it a 7 or an 8 as well. Actually, I probably would rate it a little bit higher. I probably rated it an 8 or 9. I think it was actually a really good episode. This first scene where we have K. Michelle, Porsha, and Kelly. Let me say something. K. Michelle has gotten a lot of flack. Even this week where she made some comments about Robin and Giselle, making comments about her being on the show with her love of hip-hop background and, you know, all of the things. And K. Michelle's gotten a lot of flack about being on this show, coming from a love of hip-hop background, without really giving her a chance. And what I want to say is, as of episode number 2, now I don't know about the rest of the season. We are only in episode number 2. As of episode number 2, baby, she is not in any, like, listen, the dinner scene, she excused herself from the drama. In this scene between Porsha and Kelly, baby, I felt her pain because I was saying the same thing to myself. I was like, what the hell is going on here? And the way K. Michelle was sitting there looking confused, baby, that is exactly how I was looking. I was confused as hell. Listen, I understand that we are here to produce a show. But this whole situation with Kelly and Porsha was ridiculous. Like, you, Porsha, first of all, we know Porsha ain't above a lie. So let's just start there. Porsha ain't above a lie. Porsha is going to say, well, you told me to stay away from married men, but you out here sleeping with married men yourself. And let me say something. Even if Kelly is sleeping with a married man, guess what? It still don't trump what you did. You know why it don't trump what you did? Because you were on national television and you slept, and you, like Kelly said, you shook that woman's hand and slept with her man. And then played in all of our faces like you ain't do nothing wrong by simply just saying me and her weren't friends. You justified sleeping with that woman's husband. So even if Kelly is running around Atlanta streets sleeping with somebody's husband, she doing it quietly. She not on national television doing it. She not shaking that lady hand, looking her in the eye and sleeping with her husband. At least not publicly. That's if we believe what you said. Because let's be clear, what you said didn't even make no sense, Porsha. You said, first of all, I have an issue when people say they know something to be a fact that you don't know to be a fact. You don't know to be a fact that Kelly is sleeping with anybody's husband if you weren't in that bedroom and saw it go down. Because just because somebody told you what happened and told you who they were sleeping with and told you who was there, baby, if you wasn't in Barbara's bedroom, you don't know what was happening in Barbara's bedroom. If y'all, I know Chuck got that reference. Some of y'all might not get the reference about being in Barbara's bedroom. But if you wasn't in Barbara's bedroom, baby, you don't know what the hell went down. So all of that, I know for a fact that you slept with a married man. No, you don't. You don't know for a fact shit. You know what somebody told you somebody did, but you don't know for a fact that anybody did anything. I knew Chuck was going to get it. But you don't know for a fact that anybody did anything. That's number one. That's number one. Number two, even if I believe you, girl, that story didn't make no sense. If I can't draw a straight line, if the story does this right here, this zigzag, baby, I don't want no parts of it. Because that story didn't make no damn sense what you said. And why your shit always got to involve Dennis? Why is Dennis always in it? You said that the person was in bed with Kelly and called your friend and told your friend, who's a friend of yours, guess who I just got done sleeping with? I'm with Kelly. And that person knew Dennis, or was the person Dennis that he called? And the only reason why they made the connection is because Kelly was on the phone and said Porsha's name. Girl, are you crazy right now? Girl, that's your proof. That's your proof. Your proof is somebody heard somebody say something to somebody else, and somewhere in those conversations, Porsha and Dennis's name was said. Girl, if you don't go sit all the way the fuck down. And then Kelly was like, girl, what? And she's like, well, at least I'm not saying it publicly. And y'all know what Kelly was saying without saying it. Kelly was like, girl, what are you talking about? You absolutely are saying it publicly. Because what Kelly was saying was you saying it on the show. You know, she didn't say it. She didn't break the fourth wall. She said, girl, we are in a public restaurant and you saying it in front of everybody publicly. What she wanted to say was, girl, you see them cameras there like I see them cameras there. You know what you're doing just like I know what you're doing. You absolutely are saying this publicly. And you saying it on national television. Baby, listen, I was so damn confusion. I was like, huh? Baby, this story made absolutely no sense, Porsha. It was a fail. It was an epic fail. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not even mad at Kelly for doing the whole hug and let's move on thing. Because we are filming a scene. And I'm pretty certain that on her call sheet, you know, it was supposed to be a whole like scene to meet K. Michelle and introduce K. Michelle to the group kind of thing. It wasn't even supposed to be what happened. It wasn't even supposed to be what had went down and how it had went down, right? So I'm not mad at Kelly for being like, all right, let's just hug and move the fuck on, because I don't even know what the hell just happened. I'm not mad at her for that, but I absolutely feel the same way Kelly feel. Like, no, we're not good. Oh, we're not good. Okay. And Porsha, you can't possibly believe that y'all are good. You can't possibly believe that y'all are good. Baby K. Michelle was sitting there drinking her whiskey and was like, I don't know what the hell is going on here. And I would have been just like that too. I'd have been just like that with her. We found out that K. Michelle is going to be performing at the Academy of Country Music. And so, she's really excited about that. Like I said, I told y'all before. I told y'all last week, I said it on the Whether You Like It or Not panel, and I'm going to keep saying it. Baby, K. Michelle is here to promote her album and get a check. Baby, she is here to promote her album and get a check. And I'm not mad about either thing. Again, I know we have a long season to go. Baby, we got at least 16 more episodes to get through. Maybe between 15 to 16 more episodes to get through. So we don't know where this is going to go. I don't know how it's going to go left or how it's going to go right. We know her and Drew don't fuck with each other, but I don't know where it's going from here. But what I will say is, in them first 2 episodes, K. Michelle is very focused on what she here to do, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you, this next scene, I'm a little nervous. This next scene got me nervous. This next scene, hold on, y'all, I'm here. This next scene got me real nervous and real worried, okay? Let me tell you why this next scene has me nervous and got me worried. I have watched enough Housewives shows over the years. I have reviewed, we in year 5 of me reviewing these shows, and I've been watching reality TV from its inception. And I have seen couples come on these shows and have issues, and those issues hemorrhage, and we have seen more than our fair share of couples get divorced. Pinky Cole, abort mission, baby. Let this be one and done. Move on. Pay your bills another way. Find something else to do. This ain't it, baby. And let me tell you what I mean by this. Pinky Cole was very transparent in this scene. She went through. Last week, she gave us her resume on her success. This week, she told us how she lost it all, right? She talked about how she built her business, and she talked about how she lost it, and she talked about how hard this year has been for her. But when she turned to her husband and said, do you think you supported me do this? And when she said that she had a lot of lonely nights, and when her husband said, I mean, maybe I wasn't there because this was basically my star was rising while your star was falling, and I ain't know how to be there for you the way you needed me to show up for you. They got some issues. Their marriage is not on as solid ground as I think from the outside, people think it is from the outside looking in. Maybe they got issues. They got some issues. And it sounds like when all these things were going down, it sounds like Pinky was by herself, dealing with it, talking to lawyers, talking to it sounds like she was processing all this. And I mean, I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm saying that's what it sounds like listening. It sounds like she was going through this by herself. Now, let me tell you something, Mr. Pinky Cole. Hey, Mr. Pinky Cole, let me tell you something. She wasn't spending that money by herself. She wasn't buying cars and things by herself. So when shit was bad and when things was running off the rails, she shouldn't have had to go through it by herself. And it sounds like she wanted you to be there for her, but you didn't show up for her. Now, again, we talking about one scene, but I can only read into what you said. And it sounds like Pinky went through this by herself, honey. And I'm not saying that, listen, she ain't the first person to make a whole lot of money and fuck it up. So I'm really trying to give her some grace. She ain't the first person to do it. But it does sound like she went through it by her. When she needed him, he was not there. And it sounds like, it sounds like his business is doing very well. I disagree. I think that was an honest conversation. I think their marriage was really in trouble. They wouldn't have been able to have that conversation at all. Okay. He's there for the money. When the money dries up, he's out of there. I don't know if I'm gonna go that far, but I'm just gonna say I feel like, yes, I agree. It was an honest conversation, but I'm listening to what's not being said, or actually what is being said. And what I heard was, you weren't there for me the way I needed you to be there for me. Now that doesn't mean he wasn't there at all. That means he wasn't there the way she needed him to be there. And yes, his business is very successful. It's doing very well. Doing very well. She said that on Earn Your Leisure podcast, her husband was in a catch-22. He was trying to be happy about his stuff, but he didn't want to be too happy because she was going through her company changes. And I can understand that that's hard, right? Your life is on the upswing, your wife's life is on the downswing, and it's like, I'm happy, but I can't be too happy because. And I can understand that was probably a tightrope he was walking. But I'm just telling y'all, and let's be clear, I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right because I don't ever want to see, unless it's a bad relationship, I don't want to see people's marriages be in trouble. But I'm just telling you, the one thing we know about reality television is whatever is already there, it goes under a microscope and there's an exclamation point and it gets harder, not easier. If you are not already on solid ground in your marriage, it can be hard. I do not think that reality TV shows ruin marriages. I think reality TV shows expose the cracks in the marriage that's already there. So, in my opinion, I'm not saying they're going to get divorced. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, I think there's some issues there that they need to process before it gets to that point. That's just my opinion. And I want to be wrong. But it was something about that conversation that made me feel like, I don't know. I think it's an interesting dynamic when your success is coming at the same time as your partner's failure. Yeah, and I know that's hard. I'm sure that's hard. You know what I'm saying? Didn't they get married after just a few months? Yeah, they did. And then they got married. They weren't dating that long, got married, and proceeded to have 3 children back to back with a business that's failing. It's a lot. It's a lot. But again, I want to be wrong. These are the things I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. K Michelle's moving into her new home. Listen, K's so cute. K is so cute. And you know what I love about this situation with her and her husband? Because I've read earlier this week, and I didn't get a chance to really talk about it on the tribe meeting, but I read earlier this week, and K Michelle actually spoke on it in this scene where they're going through her new house. She had a whole different storyline. Actually, production was actually thrown for a loop because K Michelle was about to be engaged to a coach, a whole nother person. And they were ready to film the engagement. And that was her storyline, was that she got engaged to this other person. And and her whole situation. And literally, she showed up married. And production was like, I'm sorry, what happened? I'm sorry, excuse me? And she actually spoke to that. She said, look, I was engaged to a whole nother person. Or I was getting ready to get engaged to a whole nother person. And he realized he was getting ready to lose me for real, for real. And he stepped up. You know, they've been dating for a very long time. And she said, you know, I didn't think I wanted to be married. But then I actually got offended that he didn't try to marry me. Pinky doesn't properly manage her business. She wants the benefits, but left others to do the work in the business and ran into the ground. Her husband pays his employees. Pinky doesn't. Okay. Yeah, NBA coach. Yeah. And it's funny because again, I read that earlier this week, and then she actually spoke on it. He's a dentist, and he's getting ready to, they're planning on staying in Atlanta because he said that he wants to open up a practice in Atlanta. He has a dental practice with his father, so I guess he's going to open up an office in Atlanta. He said he just got to get his license. Now, somebody asked me last week, do I think she would be better on Married to Medicine? I don't know if I think she would be better on Married to Medicine. I mean, I get it. He's a dentist. Yeah, but I don't know. I think she's where she's supposed to be. I think she's right where she's supposed to be. Unpopular opinion. K. Michelle is giving us storylines for 3 past reality TV shows or something inauthentic about her on this show. Okay. Did you ever watch the full Jason? I didn't. I haven't had time, y'all. Listen. I honestly haven't had time. And plus, I know my ADHD, child. If I forget, once I forget about something. No, I haven't though. Kelly, Shamea, and Angela meet up at a little boutique. Look like a little cute little boutique spot. We find out that Kelly's husband that week had done an interview with Tasha K. Baby, Tasha K gonna light Kelly up tomorrow. Because Kelly said with a trashy blogger or something like that, a unethical blogger or something she said, baby. I said, ooh, Tasha K gonna light Kelly ass up tomorrow, but I don't think Kelly care. I'm at this point, I'm just convinced that Shamea is trolling us. Because what the fuck was this wig that Shamea had on in this scene? This curly 1980s look like a jerry curl. What the fuck is Shamea giving us? At this point, I just think you trolling us, Shamea. I think you just trolling us. Kelly was dating Shaq. Oh, I didn't know. I never read that. Cheryl agrees with you, Phil. Oh, DMV agrees with you too, Phil. See, Phil, you're not an unpopular opinion. A lot of people agree. I'm gonna say this. I'm not gonna say I think that. I agree that. I already told you I think K. Michelle is on here to promote her album. You know what I mean? So now Kelly is talking about. I do feel like Kelly is being transparent and talking about how much debt she's in, how much this has cost her between her divorce and trying to get this business open. I think she's been very, very transparent. But this is why I tell y'all, I'm not impressed when I see this shit on these reality shows. I'm not impressed when people show us, like when we talk about, earlier today, we were talking about Dorit and her buying all of these things. Like, I'm not impressed by none of that, because at the end of the day, last year, Kelly was having whole fucking birthday parties for a dog and was taking a dog, getting dog massages and shit last year. And now she talking about how she couldn't even pay her rent on her restaurant and how she was only able to pay the man. She owed that man $100,000 and she could only pay him $50,000. And that didn't include all of the utilities and everything else. And how much money she owed her lawyers and all these things. Last year, Kelly was walking around, you know, acting like, you know, acting like she had all of this money and had all of this disposable income, trying to impress somebody. That's why I'm not impressed. Because at the end of the day, yes, I appreciate you being transparent right now, but at the end of the day, girl, you really was out here last year acting like you had it going on, and you didn't have it going on last year. You was pretending. You was putting on a show. Not unpopular field. Drew would have been dragged for doing the same thing. Oh, y'all talking about something else. Okay. I think Shamea still goes to the hood to get her hair done. What's in style mainstream is a bit different in the hood. I disagree, but okay. That wig ain't in nobody's style. No hood. Okay. I mean, listen. Okay. Kelly then proceeds to tell the ladies what happened with Porsha. She was like, Porsha, and this, that, and the other, and that, and the this, and the this, and the that, and the that, and the this. Right. It was that Ashley Darby wig. Exactly. That damn wig. And we drug Ashley for it. So, girl, what made you think you was going to pull it off? We drugged the shit out of Ashley. But Kelly went on to explain to them what Porsha said about her sleeping with a married man and all of the things. And again, I'm not mad at Kelly for basically saying, no, we not good. Because you really put me out there and made it seem like I'm out here sleeping around with a married man. So no, we ain't good. Like, I let that shit go. But that don't mean we good. Now, Shamea, come here. Shamea, I'm gonna need you to let it go. Just because you and Porsha weren't able to work past y'all's issues and y'all still not speaking and y'all still are not cool, does not mean that everybody else can't work past whatever issues they have and be cool again. At the end of the day, Angela and Phaedra weren't friends. They didn't have a relationship. They didn't have an established relationship. They could get over it and move on. They weren't friends. You want Angela to be mad at Drew because Drew wasn't going along with, felt like the receipts weren't receipting. But like Drew said, girl, me and Angela talked about it. Angela know how I feel about the receipts. She knows how I feel. So, girl, you're not exposing nothing. And Angie don't feel no kind of way because me and Angie done talked. You know, she don't feel no kind of way because we done talked. I did say Porsha. I did. So the next scene we see Angela, Drew, Porsha. That's how I say it, Porsha. Angela, Drew, Porsha, and Phaedra. They were at Drew's movie premiere. We saw Claudia Jordan. Shout out to you, Miss Claudia Jordan. We see you, girl. Hold on a second. I wanted to see something. And Porsha introduces us to Sway. So we meet Sway for the first time. And listen, to be fair, what I can appreciate is Porsha was like, listen, at the end of the day, look, it was the worst kept secret in Atlanta that, yes, I dipped my finger in the lady pond, okay? I dipped my toe in the lady pond. Now, this is the first time that I'm dating women, like outright just dating them. But baby, it ain't my first rodeo. And I'm glad that Porsha said that because I think that I'm not gonna say we forgot that Porsha played around with the women, but I think when we saw her out here with Sway and then this whole relationship with a woman, I do think we might have probably forgot, like, hell, Porsha, child, we done seen Porsha just playing around with women before. You know what I'm saying? Sway is a salon owner. Yeah, I didn't know who Sway was, but it's a salon owner. Okay. Um, Lord, y'all are cutting up in this chat. My gosh. Right. She had sex with women, but not real relationships with women, right? So, with that being said, we meet Sway, and we know that in real time, Sway and Porsha are still very much together. So I guess we're gonna see a lot more Sway. Um, Angela actually apologized to Phaedra. She said, "Listen, Phaedra, did you send them people down to that event?" And Phaedra was like, "No, I did not." And Angela said, "I apologize. Like, I accept your apology. I want to apologize to you. Listen, I'm sorry." And listen, at the end of the day, like I said, Angela and Phaedra did not have a relationship. They weren't friends. So it's like, look, girl, some messy stuff happened. I'm not sure the truth of it at this point, but at this point, you say you didn't send them people to the event. All I can do is accept what you're saying because their receipts are not receipting. Had me out here kind of looking crazy. I went out on a limb and then they kind of backtracked off of what they said. At this point, all I can do is apologize. Phaedra accepted the apology. And sometimes that's all you can do. I tell people all the time, when somebody apologizes, all they can do is apologize. Now, the best apology is change behavior. So as long as we don't have no bullshit and we don't see another situation, that's all Porsha can really do. I mean, not Porsha, that's all Phaedra can really do at this point. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have apologized for shite. Okay. All right, girl. Angela should apologize for bringing that lie because she bought those people. Okay. Does Phaedra have a storyline or just a new hit? Y'all really be cutting up in this chat. Why you have to say that? Y'all be cutting up. Y'all really be cutting up. Anyway. Anyway, child. Drew had her movie premiere, honey. Her and Claudia Jordan in the movie. It was a horror sci-fi. Drew got killed 35 minutes into the movie. Look, she wasn't wrong. Now, y'all know Drew good for Googling something. But Drew wasn't wrong. Jada Pinkett Smith, she died and screamed in like the first 5 minutes of the movie, child. And Drew Barrymore, she died in the first 5 minutes too. So look, I ain't mad at you, Drew. I ain't mad at you. You better let the people know, look, I ain't the first person to die at the beginning of the movie. And like she said, am I dead? Y'all might see me in the sequel. I thought it was cute, what have you. And the cast too big. There's a lot of housewives on this show. Is the cast too big? It's the same amount. I mean, you have Porsha, Phaedra, Cynthia technically is a friend of. Kelly, I think they said was a friend of. So you have Shamea, Porsha, K. Michelle, Angela, Kelly. No, I just said Kelly is a friend of. Drew. So you really only have 5 housewives and then 2 friends of. I feel like that's about right. Right? I think. Kelly has a peach. Okay, so Kelly, so 6 housewives. Yeah, Omar Epps died in the first 10 minutes too, child. Wait a minute, you said it's 8 housewives? Okay, hold on. Let me go through it. Hold on. Phaedra, Kelly, Porsha, Shamea, Angela, K. Michelle. Who am I missing? That's 6. Who am I missing? Because Cynthia's a friend of. So that's 7. Who am I missing? Pinky. Shit, I don't forgot about damn Pinky Cole. Lord, I don't forgot about the Pinky. Okay. Okay. So Cynthia's a friend of. I thought somebody else was a friend of. But okay. I don't feel like it's too many of them though. But child, who am I? We want to hold on. Let me see here. Hold on. Drew kids was probably taken away because her kids weren't taken away. Her kids were not taken away, y'all. Let's use the right language. Her kids were not taken away. She has lost primary custody of them during the school year, starting next school year. Those kids are still with Drew right now. The kids are with Drew until next school year, where they're with her husband during the school week. They're not going anywhere until next school year. She has not lost her kids. Okay, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8. Yeah, all of them have. I'm sorry, I'm looking at it on the screen. Yeah, all of them have Peaches. So yeah, I guess she is full time. Because that's K Michelle. Lord, K Michelle's picture is ugly. I do not like K Michelle's picture. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like K Michelle's picture. Anyway, K Michelle, there's Kelly, Drew, Shamea, Porsha. Phaedra has a peach too, Angela and Pinky. So I guess all of them are full time. Anyway, so we get over to Kelly's opening of her chicken and waffles. And Porsha said she wasn't coming because after they told Porsha down to the movie premiere that, you know, Kelly called her Horsha and Kelly felt some kind of way about what went down at the dinner with her being accused of sleeping with a married man. Porsha was like, well, forget it then. I ain't coming. Like, I ain't got to go to support that, whatever. So Porsha didn't show up, but she sent flowers, which I thought was stupid. Why? If you feel some kind of way and you're upset, why are you sending flowers? Excuse me. It makes no sense to me. But with that being said, baby, y'all, I need Kelly to put a dress code on these outfits. What the hell? Cynthia looked like she was on her way to a baptism, and Phaedra looked like she was on her way to Studio 54. Like how are y'all going to the same place? How anyway? So Kelly shows up, she gives a speech, and she talks about how hard it's been. I think she was very transparent in her speech. She talked about how hard it's been as far as monetarily and all of those things with what she had to do with helping out with you know, financially and her parents and all that kind of stuff. I wish her well on her restaurant opening and leaves the rest for later. P knows she was lying and didn't want to be called out in front of. Well, maybe that's what it is. So with that being said, first of all, anyway, with that being said, I'm happy for her again. I'm sorry that the restaurant is closed or whatever's going on with her restaurant. Because, you know, I don't wish bad on nobody. I don't. When it comes to businesses and stuff like that. I like how Pinky Cole said, look, girl, I did leave you on red, but I didn't know I left you on red, which tells me that Pinky Cole went home, went through her DMs and saw that she did leave Kelly on red. I like how she apologized. She acknowledged it. She apologized. And then she went on to say, hey, let's link up. She said, I was going through a lot. You know, when you reached out to me, I had a lot going on. But let's link up. You know what I mean? I wish you the best. I want to be here to help support you. I think they could link up on a vegan menu Because when the food came and Pinky Cole was like, look, I can't eat none of this. That tells me that Kelly doesn't have any vegan options on her menu. Why not link up and have a slutty burger, on your menu or something like that, right? That's a great collab, you know what I'm saying? Restaurants are very hard business. They are very, very hard businesses. Because people are fickle, right? 1 minute we love going to this restaurant. The next minute we move on to something else. Right. The slutty wing, right? The chicken, the slutty wing and waffles, right? Whatever vegan alternative there are to waffles, right? That would be a great idea. You know what I'm saying? It's too late, it's close. Listen, I don't know. But anyway, so the ladies get to talking or whatever, and here go hating ass Shamea again. She not understanding how Phaedra and Angela are able to move past it, because Phaedra came in and said, hey, friend, and gave Angela a hug. And girl Shamea was like, friend, baby. And Shamea was really in her feelings like, what you mean, friend? Like, how y'all friends? Girl, just because you can't find your way back to Porsha, it doesn't mean that the rest of these ladies can't figure out and find their way back to, again, they don't have the history that you and Porsha have. It's a lot more there to dig through. And like they said, we learn not to hold on to stuff and not to let stuff fester. When stuff bothers us, we just we process through it and we move on. And again, that's all you can do. And I understand that everybody ain't ready to forgive Phaedra, or everybody ain't ready to forgive Angela. But as far as Phaedra and Angela are concerned, it's okay to be like, look, my bad, I'm sorry, and move the fuck on. Shamea, you want people to stay in their misery because you still stuck in your misery. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the night, Shamea and Drew, Shamea gonna say to Drew, I really appreciate, congratulations on the movie. Even though I didn't get invited, I want to come. Girl, you have had nothing nice to say about Drew. And don't get me wrong, Drew has returned the favor. It's not one-sided. But what made you think you would get an invitation to Drew's movie premiere? And like Drew said, girl, we don't talk. We haven't had a conversation. You ain't called me. I ain't called you. What you mean? You would like to come to my movie premiere. You want to support me. Girl, Shamea, you had all off season to call that girl and reach out to that girl. You knew they were getting ready to start. Y'all was getting ready to start filming. You could have reached out to her to have a conversation, to film before. Like, girl, you as bad as your friend calling over there during the event. Porsha, you just couldn't stand it. You decided not to show up, but you couldn't stand that event to happen without you. Why you calling up there talking to them people? What did you expect them people to say on the phone with you? You called to talk to who? To ask what? What you wanted to ask about? Is it nice? Is it full? Are the people there? Like, what did you call for, Porsha? And then you're gonna say, well, I sent flowers. Okay, what Kelly was supposed to kiss your ass because you sent her some damn flowers? Girl, she said them flowers were broken. She said broken flowers for a broken person. I said, damn. So I was here for Drew saying, girl, what? You want to do what? With who? And how is that supposed to happen? Like, I was here for Drew being like, what? Like, what the fuck you talking about? And here comes Shamea mama. I'ma Maku Sa. Girl, what? Why are you in this, ma'am? No disrespect. And I was here for Drew saying, look, I was raised not to disrespect my elders. However, why are you here, Hoppo? Nobody asked Shamea's mama to come into the middle of this conversation. Nobody asked for her input. Nobody asked for her little makeshift prayer. Like, no disrespect, but girl, nobody asked you for this. Nobody asked you to show up and tell us nothing. Girl, nobody asked for that. And then I lost what I was getting ready to say, child. It was something about Shamea and her mama. Oh, then they're going to play back that damn apology where Shamea was like, my apology was sincere. No, it wasn't. 2 reasons why your apology wasn't sincere. Reason number 1 that your apology wasn't sincere because it wasn't a real apology. Y'all know how I feel about them ifs apologies. It's you gave an apology and said, if I ... It's, once you say if, you have invalidated my feelings. Because if I'm telling you that I was hurt by your words and your actions, there's no if to it. I already told you. There's no if. The minute you say if, you've invalidated, and I don't give a fuck about nothing else you said. If I say, Cheryl, you hurt my feelings the other day when we were at dinner, when you told me that my food was nasty and I thought my food tastes good. Now that's a dumb example. I'm just trying to think of something. If Cheryl says to me, oh, I'm sorry if I hurt you, I just told you you did. There's no if to that. I just said you hurt my feelings. So number 1, your apology was invalidated because it started with if. Number 2, your apology is invalidated because you then turned around and said, well, I mean, I could have done worse than what I did. Then are you sorry for what you did? Because saying, hey, I could have done worse than what I did, again, that's not helping. That's not a good apology to say, it could have been worse. I'm sorry, what? It could have been worse. They don't help me. Then we go to K. Michelle. I feel so bad for K. Michelle. K. Michelle said she went, she went through her performance, however, she said that when she got ready to stand up to go out there on stage to perform, the whole couch was a bloody mess. She ended up going to the emergency room and come to find out that the incision for those who don't know K. Michelle's story, K. Michelle got illegal silicone put in her body, and her body began to reject it to the point where she almost died, and she had to have surgeries with an S to get the silicone out of her body, and it looks like she is still having issues with it. And I feel bad for her because so many, again, we look at these shows and we see these women get all of these injections and these fillers and BBLs and all of these things to achieve this ridiculous standard of beauty that I don't know who gave us. But I look at that and I just feel so. Yeah, she said blood. Didn't she say blood? She said she stood up and the whole couch was. I could have thought she said, maybe, did she say blood or did she say it was wet? I thought she said blood. Correct me in the chat. I thought she said blood. She said wet. Okay. Okay, now one person says she's saying blood. The other person says she said wet. Okay, she said the couch was wet. Okay, I take it back. She said they said the couch was wet. Okay. I thought she said blood, but I'm sorry. If she just said wet, then my bad. My bad. She said it was wet. Okay. My bad. I take it back. My bad. So she ended up at the hospital, and that's where we left her, is that at first she said wet and then she said blood. I thought I heard blood, but I could have just heard what I wanted to hear. Not wanting to, you know what I'm saying? When I say wanted to hear, and I didn't want to hear that she was bleeding. But you know, she's just very upset and she's been very vocal. Okay, other people are saying she said blood. Okay, I thought I heard blood. Anyway, but she's been very vocal about the silicone and the injections. And that's why I was actually happy. I was actually happy when I heard Cardi B said she was going to take some of that stuff out of her body after her tour, but now she's saying that she ain't going to do it. So I really hope that she does. I really hope she rethinks it and she takes some of that stuff out of her body too. But that was pretty much the episode, you guys. I thought it was a good episode. Don't forget, tomorrow night is the Whether You Like It or Not panel. I believe we are on T's channel because JoJo is not available. So I believe it's on T's channel tomorrow night. Does it look like K Michelle got a facelift? Or maybe it's just the Botox. Cardi has that same look. A lot of them have that same look now. Meg Thee Stallion has that same look. I don't know. The Kardashians reduced theirs, did they? Oh, okay. Yeah. So I feel for her though. I do. I feel for K Michelle. And I just pray that she continues to get healthy. Because unfortunately, you know, you put those substances in your bodies and it's just it's you know, it's sad. But with that being said, y'all, I'm out of here. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Mwah. Peace.